Welcome everybody to the Csffl pregame show. It's week 5. Hope you're excited. I'm your host, Mr. Dean, Jeff, Dean, whatever you want to call me. I got some papers here. We got some things to look over, but honestly, I don't need these papers because we got everything on the screen. We're going to break it down for you right now. Yeah, I'm looking good. You don't got to ask. I also got a special guest for us today that we're going to talk and break down the matchups as well. We got Sunday's matchups here. I'm pretty excited about. The first game we got going on right now is the Sharks versus the Scorpions at 12 o'clock. And then the next game we got here is the... Boom! It's the 1 o'clock game is the Wolverines versus the Tigers. Should be a really great game. I'm pretty excited about that. Evan Watkins and Tiny Thomas going head-to-head. And then we got our third matchup for the day. We got 3 games today. Hope you're excited. At 2 o'clock, it's the Dragons versus the high-powered Mark McCoy offense of the Lions. Oh, my goodness. Pretty excited to see this. And we're going to break down all of the matchups, the 3 matchups for you today. And then we're going to talk about fantasy points from last week and what we think are going to happen today. And we're going to bring in our special guest, owner of the Dawgpound here to help us break down the matchups. Here we are here with the owner of the Dawgpound. How you doing there? Can you hear us? Yeah. Okay, you can hear us. Just wanted to make sure. I hear you. Okay, well, welcome. And here we are. We're going to break down the matchups of the weekend. I'm pretty excited about them. So let's get right into them right away. So the first matchup is the... here, let me bring up the standings over there, or the slideshow there. Okay, so first matchup is the 12 o'clock game, Sharks versus the Scorpions. And we got the team breakdown and matchup here. Scorpions come into week 5 with the second best offense and the first best pass offense, going against the second total defense in the Sharks with the 4th pass defense. And the Sharks look really strong on defense and the Scorpions look really strong on offense. How do you see this one playing out?
Well, first off, I'd like to say that I don't have my personal notes, but from what I can tell you from the last couple of weeks watching Sharks games, they are an explosive bunch on defense. As you said, they have one of the best defenses in the league. So in saying that, you can't take away anything from Selfish Seymour. I mean, this guy is just lighting it up almost every week. And I think it was week 3 or week 2, one of the weeks, he absolutely blew everybody out the water with the match against the Tigers, I believe. So it's going to be a high-powered offense against a high-powered defense, and I think it's going to go down to the wire.
I absolutely agree. I think it's going to be a really good game, and I'm excited to see what Anquan Seymour can do, because last week in week 4 he threw 7 touchdowns and won week 4 MVP. So he also broke the record not only for passing touchdowns but passing yards in Csffl history with 563 passing yards in an absolute thriller of a game, one of the best games ever with the Scorpions versus the Lions. What an incredible matchup. We're excited to see Tyler Glover, see if they can slow down that pass offense for the Scorpions, force them to run the ball, which they've been struggling to do with Tiki Carter, and then, feed it to the sleepy giant Garrett. So now the second matchup for the game, or for the weekend, is the 1 o'clock game, and it's the Wolverines versus the Tigers. And the Tigers really have turned it around the last couple weeks, and the Wolverines are just absolutely phenomenal on all aspects of the field. So let's take a look at the breakdown here. First thing that stands out to me is the second pass offense from the Wolverines in their high-powered offense with Tiny Thomas, Jesse Bonds, CJ Diggs, Keon returner, Garrett Spence, the whole nine. They got Casey Buckley. They got quite a few weapons at their disposal on offense, but also look at their defense with the third best passing defense and fourth total defense. So they are just great all around. And then you see the Tigers, but the Tigers are at home, I believe, and they have the first overall pass defense, which is absolutely phenomenal to think about. They also have the third total defense, but holy smokes, are they struggling on offense? How do you see this one playing out, Dawgpound?
Well, for the specific reason why we drafted Tiny Thomas is because of his heart. Okay, you've got a big heart, and he loves to sling the ball. Now, with the emergence of Jesse Stocks and Bonds, he is definitely looking to have a big bounce back game. He needs to be on the board, double-sided on the ground and in the air. I think he needs to have one of those games to pull it out against the Tigers. The Tigers have these spurts when Watkins goes absolutely bonkers, and then you don't hear him. You know, the stats may be a little deceiving, but I would honestly want to push towards the Wolverines and the Tigers to have a tight game and actually wrap it up real quick.
Okay, so you think it's going to be a real tight game, eh?
Yeah. I can't say who's going to win because that's too hard right now.
If you had to put your money on it, who do you think is coming away with the win? Do you think the Wolverines can pull it off, or do you think these Tigers are going to shut them down? They did shut down the Scorpions and kept the Scorpions to 10 points. It was unbelievable. Yeah. One of the lowest scoring games in CSFL history, including the preseason, and the Tigers were the ones to do it.
Well, if you ask me, I'm going to say defense wins championships, so I'd say the Tigers would pull it out.
Nice. Okay, perfect. So let's take a look at the third matchup. Third matchup for Sunday's games is the 2 o'clock game. It's the Dragons versus the Lions. Very similar team these Dragons are, like the Sharks. And the Lions have just been on fire since week 1. Let's take a look at the actual breakdown of the teams here. Points per game is the first thing that stands out to me for the Dragons. They are 8th. And that lets you know that this is a high-powered league because the lowest team scoring per game is 40. So the team that scores the least amount averages still 40 points a game, which makes for a great fantasy football league. But number one thing that stands out is look at that total defense, for the Dragons. The Dragons, unbelievable defense there. Number 1 in total, number 1 in rush defense, and number 2 in pass defense. That's unbelievable. So this is the unmovable rock meets the unstoppable force with the number 1 offense. Points per game, the first overall versus the worst overall for points per game. So when you see that, you think it's going to be a blowout, but the Dragons can slow them down and stop. Can they slow them down and stop Mark McCoy?
I don't think they can. Let me tell you something, Dean. Okay, the Dragons. Okay, you don't get to come into the league with the best total defense, first total rushing defense, and second passing defense, and go 1-3. Okay, Mark Platt can't get it done. That's all it is. Mark Platt can't get it done. Brandon Platt, he can't get it done. So
Brendan Platt.
Brandon Platt. I'm saying the Lions are gonna take this game convincingly, regardless of the defensive stats, because the offense can't get it going.
Wow, big statement coming from Dawgpound.
Able to get it going since week 2 or 3.
And that's true. So I think that they are going to struggle, and Dawgpound thinks that they're going to win decisively.
That's why we got rid of his ass.
Well, there you go. So, wow. All right. So, yeah, I could see this game tilting in the Lions' favor, obviously, because of how strong their offense is and how many points they score per game, averaging over 17 points more per game than the Dragons. Also, they have a strong rushing defense to stop RJ Barber, slow him down and force it.
He ain't getting it done either.
Yeah, and then they're gonna force it to Brendan Platt, and when they force it to Brendan Platt,
he can't do it.
Yeah.
I mean, he gets his numbers. The last game, I believe he had 3 or 4 touchdown passes or something like that. I don't know, but he gets his numbers still. But he just can't. I don't know what the scheme is. I don't know what they're running, but it's just not working, man. He's got too many weapons to go 1-3. His defense is stepping it up, but I don't know. I mean, he had a great week 1.
Yeah, well, he actually finished week 4 as the third best quarterback, so he was able to come from behind and throw some points up. But again,
because he's got to work so hard. This motherfucker can't. Oh, sorry, my bad. I can't cuss on the network. But I'll say, you know what I'm saying? He has to work so hard for his points. He's got to.
Yeah, so he's always coming from behind, is what you say. So, do you think that's credited to the talent of the Dragons, or do you think that is the coaching?
It's always the coaching.
Okay. All right.
I think so. I think it's always the coaching. Athletes are born athletes. You're not born a coach.
Yeah, that's why I asked. They clearly have the talent. So they clearly have the talent with Barry Perkins. Look how big of a day Rashad Pleasant had. It was pretty impressive. So now let's go. Now that we've taken down the matchups for the week, we can take a look at the last thing that we're going to look at today. Is we're going to talk to Dawgpound and ask him a couple questions about week 5 and what he thinks about the matchups. So, first question I was going to ask you is, who do you think will finish week 5 with the most fantasy points?
That's a good one. That's a good one, D.
You can think about that for a second. Well, we can come back to that question if you like. The next question is, who do you think will be the surprise star of the week? Who has been struggling the last little while that do you think this week he's going to have a favorable matchup?
Like I always say, all right, RJ Barber is an amazing running back. And I really want to see him have a good game. That'd be really cool. Other than that, Jesse Stockton, bonds, money, paint, dirt, all day.
Yeah, it would be really nice to see RJ Barbershop and really put a dominant performance against these Lions that haven't really had to struggle all season. So it would be cool to see that, absolutely. Next question I got for you is, do you have any MVP predictions for this week 5? I saw that Anquan Seymour won it last week. Is there anyone that you think is going to have an absolute crazy game this week? I know that the Lions versus the Dragons, you said, is going to be a blowout. Could the MVP come from that game?
I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. I mean, at this point in the season, the shift in power is just so up and down. One week, one person's good. The next week, the next person's not. So I would say, if you had to pick, oh man, I'll just say I wanted to say it's going to be a wide receiver. It's going to be a wide receiver. I don't know who, but from the wide receiving core, somebody's going to have a big game.
I can definitely agree with that. I think that if I'm going to come out there with my own prediction, I think that the MVP prediction is going to be Darren Page. I know I have Darren Page, but Darren Page, I believe, is going to find himself in the lead by 2 to 3 touchdowns early. and is going to be given the ball, and he's going to get a lot of runs this game. I'm just going to say my bold prediction is Darren Page gets over 30 carries in this ball game.
Oh, over 30. That's a workhorse.
Yeah, that's my bold prediction for the Sunday. If you can think of one, also, who will have the most fantasy points? I kind of have to go with Darren Page because of my bold prediction. But honestly, I think that we already saw the biggest points per game. I think it was Edgar Plummer. I think Edgar Plummer on Thursday got, I can't remember how many it was. I believe it was somewhere around 40 points. I think he is going to be.
Because you keep taking my answers.
Hey,
you had to say Darren Page was a great acquisition for the Spartans, and I was just gonna say Edgar Plummer from the last 2 games, came out of nowhere and it been lighting it up.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. That's what I'm saying. I gave you a chance to answer it first. But what I was saying is that I think Edgar Plummer is going to be the MVP of the week, and I think that Darren Page is going to be an absolute monster this week. My surprise pick for the week, though, someone that no one's ever really talks about and hasn't really seen all week, is Donnie Jennings for the Sharks. I believe Donnie Jennings is going to have an absolute bonkers game this week. He's going to pull off Chester Manley, just kind of like how Chester Manley or John Waters or Rashad Pleasant is the third string receiver for those teams and had really big weeks last week. I think that this week is going to be the Sharks' chance to have a high-powered scoring game, and which is going to allow Donnie Jennings to have 2 or 3 touchdowns, is what I'm predicting. So, besides that, if there's any other rising stars that you could think of, or any last things that you want to touch, the floor is yours. Go ahead.
What are you thinking about Darren Linton?
I think Darren Linton is going to do all right, but the thing is that it's Josh Buchanan. So when you study the game film, you realize that they double coverage the first string a lot more than they do the second string. So what happens in the Lions is they double Rick Martin a lot, right? And then Melvin Hudson gets the ball thrown to him deep. Then they switch coverage, and they switch over to Melvin Hudson, and that's when Rick Martin gets one over the top. So Mark McCoy does it right. So I like to look at the Lions offense because they do it right. They run a team well. They run a tight ship. I love the Lions organization.
McCoy takes what you give him. McCoy takes what you give him. That's it.
Exactly, right? So when you apply that to every other team, and now we're looking at the best, one of the best, if not the best corner in CSFFL league, is the Sharks corner. He is absolutely phenomenal. I believe his last name is Rose, and he shuts people down. So I could see Josh Buchanan having another humongous game, maybe even over 200 yards again, because that's what they do. They fall behind and then they huck it, and when they throw it, they can't go
in the backfield.
Say it again?
It's like you got John Lynch and Daryl Hawkins in the backfield.
Yeah, they got some really good players for the Sharks. They have a really good defense for a reason. And the floor is yours. We are at 18 minutes, so you got 2 minutes if you have anything that you want to say, or we could just chat at the end. But that's basically the breakdown for the week. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys have any questions, comment below. But for the most part, I hope you guys enjoy your Sunday, enjoy the Sunday games, and good luck to you, Dawgpound, and good luck to everybody else that is fighting this weekend.
What do you mean good luck? You trying to be funny? Listen, I already whooped your ass in week 1 or week 2, so you just keep it quiet down there, all right? Just because I lost 2 games, y'all think I'm slipping. No, it's not slipping. The ball's always tucked. We don't fumble. Dawgpound.
Yes, that a boy.
Next season, more trades.
All right, man. Sounds good. All right. Well, on that note, I'm gonna wrap it up. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Talk to you soon. Dawgpound. Salute to my dude. Okay, and now we're gonna hope you enjoyed the show. We're just gonna wrap it up real quick here. 10 seconds left on the clock. Yeah, if there is any questions or anything like that, anything that you would like to see or anything that we didn't break down that you want us to break down in next pregame show, let us know in the comments below. And if you want to play CSFFL fantasy football, then you can join by joining our Discord in the description below, or you can email us at cssffl@gmail.com. Hope you have a great day. Talk to you guys soon. Enjoy your football games. See you in the recap video.